Starlit Encounters. My name is Esh, and I am an angel residing in the heavenly realm. My existence is filled with the glory of light and the beauty of the cosmos. Yet there are secrets I keep, ones that would make the divine frown upon me. I have a girlfriend, an extraordinary being in her own right. Asala, the princess of a realm dimly lit by fires of intrigue. Yes, there are love stories that span worlds, but ours is more complicated than most. One evening, I cautiously slipped past the celestial guards, hiding my wings beneath a cloak of clouds. Asala, I whispered as I spotted her familiar silhouette shimmering in the shadows. A look of surprise washed over her face. "What are you doing here?" she exclaimed softly, trying to maintain her composure. "In this realm, visiting you," I replied, my heart racing. Her dark eyes flashed with concern. "What if my father sees you?" "Oh, come on. It's not like..." Just then, a pair of guards ambled past, looking quite oblivious to our secret exchange. I averted my gaze, hoping to remain undetected. "You need to leave. Now," she insisted, glancing around anxiously. "Fine, but only if you come with me," I proposed, seeing her hesitation. "Absolutely not," she retorted, her voice a mix of exasperation and amusement. We found ourselves whispering back and forth, playfully negotiating. "Yes," I pressed. "No," she insisted. "Please." I nudged, and before I knew it, I had gently kissed her cheek. Finally she relented. "Fine, just this once." Our escape was a careful dance, weaving through the shadows until we stepped beyond the fiery gates and into the serene light of heaven. "Wow," Asala said, taking in her surroundings. "I didn't think it could get weirder than hell." "It's not so bad," I countered. "At least it has nice architecture." "Nice architecture," she scoffed. "Half of these beings aren't even human." "Neither are you," I teased, trying to lighten the mood. "That's not the point." "Is it not?" I laughed. As we ventured through a garden, I explained. "Here, many beings bear forms beyond mortal imagination. Some may even seem frightening." We arrived at my dwelling, a quaint cave nestled amidst glowing trees. "You live in a cave?" Asala smirked. "What's wrong with caves? They have character." I offered her a tour, stopping by my small yet vibrant pool, a gathering place for the surreal and strange. "This is where my friend's son makes his entrance. You'll love him," I said, just as a massive creature emerged from the water, a serpent adorned with dragon wings and a human face. "That's son?" Asala inquired, captivated yet wary. "Yes, but be polite, Esh," he hissed, his tongue flicking through the air. "Who is this?" "This is my partner," I explained. "Partner?" he echoed, curiosity piqued. "Yep, we're an unconventional match." Sun began to circle Asala, admiring her features with a keen interest. "Interesting horns you have. Not my usual taste but intriguing," he mused. "She's an angel," I asserted, half concerned about the scrutiny. "In what world?" Sun quipped. "You don't fit the stereotype." "Please don't say anything," Asala piped up, biting her lip nervously. "I won't," Sun replied, sliding back into his watery domain. "Though I'm not sure how anyone would believe that." "Great friend you have," Asala commented with a playful roll of her eyes. We found a cozy spot in the cave, exchanging stories about combat and weaponry, our passions shaping the evening. Asala was fierce yet tender-hearted, and I admired her bravery. As night deepened, we dared to sneak into her father's castle, excitement and nerves brimming within me. Suddenly, bright lights illuminated the hall, and flames flickered ominously. "Oh," I muttered, panic gripping me. I took flight, abandoning Asala without explanation in my haste. Back in heaven, I encountered God, his presence ethereal yet commanding. "Esh," he called, his tone puzzled. "Yes, father?" "Where have you been?" "Just exploring," I stammered. "Is that right?" he asked, his piercing gaze locking onto mine. "I know about your companion." Flustered, I started to make frantic excuses, desperate to justify my actions. "Stop," he said, raising his glowing hand. "Relax. In modern terms, I say whatever to your choices." A rush of relief flooded through me. "Thank you," I declared, my fear dissipating. As I burned a letter to convey the good news to Asala, I felt a surge of joy. "Come. God urged, leading me to a shimmering pool. What's this? I asked, intrigued. It's how I keep an eye on her father, God noted. And as we gazed into the water, an image of Asala appeared. She was animated, sharing my letter with excitement. Who is this girl? Her father, Satan, questioned. Dad, she's an angel, Asala exclaimed, a hint of pride in her voice. A what? He asked, amusement flickering. I always wanted a bad influence for you. Asala smiled, assuring her father that he would meet me. My heart raced. Meeting Satan was bound to be quite the experience. As I looked into the pool, the image of Asala animatedly discussing me with her father sent a mix of excitement and trepidation through me. I was about to meet Satan, the ruler of a realm filled with flames and intrigue, and my girlfriend's father. Would he see me as a threat or a curiosity? Are you ready for this? God asked, his voice rich with wisdom yet tinged with amusement. I think so, I replied, though doubt churned in my stomach like a tempest. Just then, the rippling waters of the pool shifted, and the scene unfolded before us. Asala stood confidently before a towering figure cloaked in shadow and intrigue. Satan was both magnificent and fearsome, with a presence that seemed to command respect and fear in equal measure. Do you think he'll like me? I asked, glancing nervously at God. Only one way to find out, he replied, a hint of mirth in his eyes. Be yourself. With a nod of determination, I prepared to step through the celestial barrier that separated our worlds. In a swirl of ethereal light, I found myself standing at the threshold of Satan's grand castle, a place that embodied both darkness and elegance. Asala's hand found mine. Together, we advanced into the foreboding hall. Dad! Asala shouted as we stepped inside, her voice echoing off the stone walls adorned with flickering torches. I want you to meet Esh. Satan turned slowly, his gaze sweeping over me with an assessing intensity. Esh, he repeated, the name rolling off his tongue like a fine wine. Yes, Your Majesty, I managed, offering a small bow. I could feel the warmth of Asala's hand squeeze mine in encouragement. An angel from heaven, is it? He mused, his crimson eyes narrowing with curiosity. You must have a remarkable story. What do you want with my daughter? I want her to be happy, I said, surprising even myself with the conviction in my voice. She brings joy into my life. I know our worlds are different, but I truly care for her. Satan raised an eyebrow, leaning forward. Interesting. Most angels shy away from temptation and darkness. But here you stand, willing to defy norms for her. It's not defying, it's loving, I replied, surprising even myself with the confidence coursing through my words. Asala beamed, and for a moment, the tension in the air softened. Tell me, he said, a hint of mischievousness in his tone. What are your intentions? Dad, Asala protested, but I interjected before she could say more. To learn from each other and grow, I explained. To bridge our worlds, not just for us, but for others who might feel confined by their lineage. Satan paused, seemingly pondering my words. A noble ambition, but relationships between light and dark can be quite volatile. Are you prepared for the challenges? I believe any relationship worth having comes with challenges, I replied. I've faced many in heaven, and I'm sure Asala has her own battles. We'll face them together. His expression shifted. A trace of respect flickered in his eyes. I admire your resolve, Angel. Asala squeezed my hand tighter, her pride evident in her smile. See, I told you she was amazing. Satan waved a hand, dismissing the moment of warmth. This isn't some fairy tale, Asala. The trials you both face will not be easy. I hope you understand that. We're aware, Dad, she assured him. And we're ready to face them. At that moment, a sudden loud clattering echoed through the hall, pulling our attention. A group of hellhounds burst in, growling and sniffing the air, alerted by our presence. Their eyes glimmered with mischief and curiosity. Satan waved his hand, and they fell silent, sitting obediently before him. These are my companions, he explained. They are more than guardians, they bring power to my realm. Hi there. I spoke, kneeling to examine the closest hound. Its fur was dark and shimmering, with eyes that held an otherworldly intelligence. You're quite beautiful. The creature sniffed me warily, then nudged my hand gently, its demeanor suddenly friendlier. Asala laughed, light and genuine, drawing the attention of everyone in the hall. See, they like you already. Satan smirked slightly, a rare expression for the formidable being. You seem to have a way with creatures, Ash. Maybe it's just a gift, I replied shyly. Perhaps, he mused, leaning back in his throne-like chair, seemingly settling into the conversation. But relationships thrive on more than just acceptance of each other's quirks. They also require understanding and respect for one's origins. You must bridge the gap between your worlds. I understand, I said, feeling the weight of his words. And I want to learn more about your world, just as I hope Asala learns more about mine. Fair enough, Angel. If you're willing to explore, then so be it. He gestured toward Asala. I'll allow her to stay with you. But remember, our worlds are not as easy to intertwine as you might hope. I'll do my best, I promised, determination flooding my veins. Satan's eyes sparkled with a mixture of amusement and intrigue. I'll be watching, Ash. Prove that love can thrive between realms, and you may change how others perceive our union. We spoke into the night, sharing stories and laughter, the flickering torches casting a warm glow around us. In that moment, surrounded by darkness and light, I felt the hope for a future filled with connection, understanding and love, bridging the distances between our two worlds. And while challenges awaited us together, I believed we could face them, an angel and a princess of hell, hand in hand. As the evening deepened, a sense of camaraderie began to blossom among us, breaking down the walls that separated our realms. The tension that once filled the air shifted, replaced by laughter and the thrill of connection. Tell me more about heaven, Asala urged, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. What's it like really? Everyone has their own idea, but I've only ever heard whispers. I began to describe the endless fields of light, the vibrant gardens where flowers bloomed with every hue imaginable, and the celestial music that seemed to emanate from every corner of the realm. It's filled with beauty and harmony, but there is also a sense of rigidity, I admitted. Everything is structured, and there are rules to follow. Sounds boring, she quipped, a teasing smile on her face. It can be, I agreed. But it's also full of peace and purpose. It's just different. Satan listened with interest, his expression softening as he turned his attention to me. And what of hell, Asala? What do you wish to tell her? He prompted, encouraging her to share her own realm. It's chaotic, she said, her voice filled with pride. But it has its own beauty. The fires create a warmth that's comforting. And despite the reputation, it's a place of passion, of desire and freedom to be who you are without pretense. Freedom can come at a price, Satan noted, a hint of caution in his tone. Asala shrugged, unperturbed. Sure, but it's my home, and I love it. I felt a swell of admiration for her. The strength she exuded, the courage to face expectations head-on. This was part of what drew me to her, and it was clear that our connection was deepening. As the night wore on, I sensed a bond forming not just between Asala and me, but also unexpectedly with her father. He shared stories of his youth, and I learned that beneath his intimidating exterior was a being shaped by history, longing, and even a touch of vulnerability. Eventually, however, the hour grew late. The flickering torches cast long shadows across the hall, and a sense of reality pulled at the edges of our time together. Asala, I began. We should probably get back before my dad senses your absence and throws a fit? She interrupted, smirking. Exactly, I replied, a chuckle escaping my lips. Satan leaned forward, his eyes gleaming. You've made me curious about the dynamics between heaven and hell, Ash. Perhaps, just perhaps, our realms can learn from one another. Are you suggesting a form of collaboration? I asked, taken aback. Why not? There's enough space in existence for all our different ways of life. It could serve as a lesson, he explained, his voice thoughtful. Imagine introducing the cuisines of heaven to hell, Asala said, her imagination lighting up with possibilities. And vice versa, not to mention the inventions in art. There's potential for harmony, I said quietly, feeling the weight of our new alliance. Then I'll support it, Satan declared, amusement threading through his tone. For as long as you respect my domain, and remember who calls the shots here. Asala squeezed my hand, a mixture of excitement and disbelief flickering in her eyes. This could change everything. We stood together, united not just by our love, but now also by a vision for a stronger bond between our worlds. I could see the path ahead was not without its obstacles, but the prospect was exhilarating. As we prepared to depart, Satan added with a smirk, "And don't forget to bring me a heavenly fruit for my table, won't you?" "Of course," I nodded, grinning. Asala and I stepped through the threshold back to heaven, my heart buoyant. The stars twinkled above us, a reminder that sometimes, even against the odds, bridges can be built. In the days that followed, I found myself moving back and forth between our realms, bringing stories, traditions, and an occasional dish to share. It began as a tentative exchange, but grew into something more significant. Together, we worked to cultivate understanding through art, culture, and the pure joy of shared experiences. And with each meeting, Asala and I strengthened our bond, navigating our differing lives with love and respect. As seasons changed, the whispers of our endeavors began to ripple across both realms. Slowly, perceptions began to shift, and beings from heaven and hell started to meet and converse, drawn together by curiosity rather than fear. Years later, as I stood alongside Asala by a shimmering stream that flowed between our worlds, a literal and metaphorical bridge, I couldn't help but marvel at how far we had come. "It worked," I said softly, looking into her eyes. "We did this." "Yes, together," she confirmed, a radiant smile illuminating her features. And in that moment, I realized our love had not just bridged the divide between two realms, but had created something new, an unfolding partnership that proved that love knows no boundaries, and harmony could flourish even in the most unexpected places. Hand in hand, we stepped forward into the future, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited us, our hearts intertwined and our destinies forever linked.